Here we go. Plane is in the sky. Match number 1 of the day as Xenox set 3 Miramars to kick things off. And the first one here, Xenox, as southern as we can get. Usually these planes pass means you have to get some ulterior drop spots in there. For this tournament, we're only 2 Miramar games in. Is everyone ready for every other team's alternate drop spot? Or are we maybe seeing teams, unfortunately, land on top of one another?
And are we maybe going to see a game that really shakes things up a little bit? That's really what I want to see from day 2 here for the Pubg Nations Cup. Through the first 5 matches, it was spoken about a lot yesterday. You know, sort of this top 6 that kind of started to form even throughout only just 5 matches. Does that translate to day 2? We'll have to wait and see. And obviously, as you said, you get these sort of ulterior, different plane paths that might have to force teams to drop elsewhere. I'm not too sure. I think most teams should be relatively fine with this, just a little bit over Los Leones. I think they'll be able to make the distance. And obviously what we saw yesterday on Miramar, not a lot of contesting either.
Not really, not really. They seem to have made things clear. I'm seeing Turkey jumping in and around Korea. We did see a little bit. I mean, if there was something happening anywhere on the map, Turkey were the ones trying to really make sure they were getting all their vehicle spawns, because they have teams all around them. They're southwest of Picado. And if you sit down there in the open, yes, you have your compounds, but if you have IGL as well, and they're now off, I mean, they were about to rotate, get beat to it by China, now they have to wrap around. Having an IGL out that early in a tough game like this, that could really spell disaster for them.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the IGL, but also the fact that you mentioned he was a big part of sort of why they were having some success. 1.6 kill average. Didn't have a whole lot of damage, whereas some of the other members would say, you know, the likes of Sapao, Glories, they would get doing the damage. But yeah, losing that IGL early on, within the first 5 minutes, not ideal for Vietnam, especially considering they are a team in contention, Toby. They're in the top 5, 45 points. Every game matters. Monty finding the kill on Tupoli. That's going to be the 2nd kill of this particular game. And Monty, of course, was a very much talked about figure yesterday.
And to me, honestly, I mean, this is Australia kind of starting off where they left off yesterday. Arguably slower. They're going to be running into each other at some point soon. In the meantime, Turkey catching Canada off guard in the midst of their rotation. Fortunately, seems to me like they're just getting away with the scare. Finna down to 6 HP.
Yeah, and honestly, for Canada, we remember back yesterday, they had that moment at Primorsk where I think it was actually Finna who got headshot straight away and unfortunately couldn't make it over to Sosnovka Island. So that could have been a similar kind of circumstance. And that's when, you know, your tournament's not quite going the way you would like. When you lose players early on rotation, random headshots, well, not random, but maybe long range ones as Micah. Well, they do eventually spot Chinese Taipei slowly in front of them. That might force them, though, to hurry up a bit.
And while we might not see it right here, we have Vietnam scary close to what's happening down the shorelines as well. So it could potentially be a 3-way fight very soon. Leo down to a sliver of health here as well. Fortunately, getting his heals up for those guys who haven't played this.
Side holding this position. Now, if you think about it, you throw mollies in there, you throw grenades in there, that's a pretty easy way. And we actually saw Australia do this to Canada in match 1 yesterday, basically at the very beginning of the entire tournament.
See if anything comes of it. Finland looking forward as well. New circle's gonna pop with hard shift. Still they will fall. Imka tried to come to the rescue of Glories, but not gonna happen. LFP1 is gonna be the one to get the kill. First one in the book for Brazil.
Yeah, and Brazil's been so consistent this tournament. They're one of the teams that have actually done well on both Erangel and Miramar. We spoke about maybe some of the teams that have done well on one or the other, but they've done so well on both. Of course, they got that chicken dinner as well on Erangel. So this is a team that you know is going to be able to perform here on Miramar and continue to rack up those points.
Sure. Next circle, just 5 seconds away. We'll see where that one's going to be going. Chinese Taipei scouting further forward. They know that Canada is nearby, but let's see. Are they forced to move? Oh, yes, wow. They are. We are heading north. The barren lands, the barren hills down towards Monte. That is going to be so hard to rotate into from the south.
And suddenly, there's not a whole lot, really, when you look at that kind of map. And you've got Brazil as well.
I'm not going to lie. I've kind of lost track of Argentina. They rotated far southeast. They're making their way on the very bottom now, but let's hold and hop back towards Turkey as they find Shinboy, Smash, Eski working together. Gets down the first. Canada down to 3. Might just be 2. Yes, no Smash. Leo finds him.
Yeah, a bit of help there. Dids and Finna was still in the vehicle, driving on over. So a reprieve for Keenan, and Dids helps out. Knocked down onto Esqui. And a nice way for him to make his debut here at the Pubg Nations Cup. Like, run with the spray. Ineffective. Peeks over, of course, only had the 1 HP, the Molotov over the top of Lyron. Now, only 2 up for Turkey, and it's Finna going for the revive.
Turkey very lucky here that Taipei is opting to use this time to rotate rather than continue that third party. Their backs are completely exploited all over the place, and they might just be able to get all fall back up. Turkey, incredibly gifted individual players. Allow them to take these fights and they will succeed.
Yeah, and really smart here, pushing, of course, onto Finna Quetpa, where they know where he is. This is a position as well, Ladrillo, that you want, and he pushes effectively, gets the kill. Finna goes down. Nice 3 kills for Turkey. Of course,
Very
Chinese
impressive.
Taipei ended up stealing one.
From Turkey, understanding that they have players behind them, get the smokes deployed fast and sit tight. Now let's see Argentina. Talked about it just before, trying to make the way. Now Leah finds one, Silson finds the other, Sucker finds one as well. It's a 2-for-1 so far as they all get out of the cars, continuing the fight.
Not a bad little seat swap, but it's Paynes who's going to put the pain for a Lee, and it looks like Germany might come out ahead. Oh no, it is only a 2 versus 2. Martens is on the outside, and he does get punished. The Buggy, it's not great for cover. Now it's up to Silson, up close. He can't win that fight. Adso with a quick double to close it out for Germany, and they will get the double revive as well.
Nice start.
There they go. Maybe Chumacera. It's the closest sort of city that they can crash into and don't have to have a whole lot of information. Otherwise, you're just sending it up to a mountain terrain where there's already so many teams occupying. And look at this circle right now. If you are a Brazil fan, you are in heaven.
Cornock instantly backing off. We are seeing the circle moving in just a couple of seconds, so understandably so cannot focus this too hard because we are very far away from what is the next circle. USA setting up shop while this is happening. UK, they got the 2 knocks, didn't get flushed off it, knowing now we have to back off. We have to prioritize the next circle.
They have to start moving, correct, and that's what they're going to do. So they don't go for anything more on Germany. Smart from the United Kingdom. They don't get greedy, and we'll see if that works out well for them. Australia, of course, pushing down, steals it. Important points being gathered here for Brazil at the guard spot up top. Ooh. Michael should get this spray to land and does. Paynes was way too close, and United Kingdom make it 2 kills.
I like this play from the UK. I mean, they set up, they waited, they knew they were going to be coming. You hear the crowd go wild as Thailand starts finding kills on towards the Chinese players as well. Saga, solo player left alive in the for them. This is where the adventure ends for this game. Lash peeking on over, but Michael will continue to run forward. Remember, Korea did lose Loki already.
Is there a chance that the United States maybe just peek down the south side of the hill that they're on, should have the elevation onto the UK and Korea? Now, down to our final 8 teams, placement points on offer.
Important kills for Japan. Now they cleared out the compound, they can spread it, they can set time, but look at Sharpshot! The nade comes through right on the money. Monty Tiggleton falls down instantly. Luke down to low HP as well as continuing pushes coming in from USA.
Sharp shot, more like sharp nade. Luke 12 trying to get the first aid kit off, uses that smoke to his advantage. Does not matter. The US of A take out Australia. Great.
H-Win saw the push coming from Korea. They knew they had to back off. Now they're essentially sitting in what position was before Australia. So they have to hold off the Korean team. Brazil, in the meantime, a little more quiet game for them. They've had the pleasure of the compound for a while, which they still do, and successfully fended off everyone. But they know that Finland is lurking just below, and you can see Haven now start.
Brazil has shown their capabilities at this event, and right now,
let's see where does this next circle go. Could be a very deciding factor who's going to come out on top in this game. Korea, here's Noise, instantly swaps over to the nades, lops them forward. Let's see if they can find anything.
Oh, a bit of damage onto the United States. We'll just force them back a little bit. Good start there for Korea. At the moment, though, it's still a bit of that guessing game, right? You throw out those random flashes, those random nades, see what you can maybe gather. But this allows Korea to now just push up and put the United States sort of on the back foot. On the other side of the map, though, of course, Brazil, they start to get a little bit closer to Finland. Correxy into the smoke, pushing forward so that those nades go over his head.
Remember, Brazil, they pushed up 3. They still have LFP1 back inside the compound. Now they're starting to back off as the blue is closing in here soon as well. Don't want to overstep. Sparking does find one. Diggory, though, immediately there to respond. 1 for 1 so far.
Sparking does go down, but it's been Haven that's been the star player at this tournament, and he gets the knock on the page, gets the next one, of course. Haven averaging over 2 kills a game, gets another 2 into the stat book. H-Win with the knockdown onto Lash K. We go to the other side now of this circle, and H-Win gets the flush. Only 2 players up for Korea.
Onyx peeking on over, doesn't like what he finds, has to back up. I love the way that they're set up here. America sitting tight, kickstart, finds the Onyx over the hill. Solid spray coming through. Lou now, left alive solo player trying to see what he can find. But 1v4 nades coming in, they know exactly where he is. I feel like Soul stays counted.
Yeah, and really good position right now for the United States. Even if Sol gets a knock, I don't think he gets the flush because of the terrain. He's just in a really tricky spot. USA do need to be careful that maybe they don't overexpend too much of their utility.
Yes.
They're going to have a couple more fights to come. Of course, they've got Brazil. There's still Japan in this game. Glory's the solo. Sol gets low, but the USA should be finding their 6th kill. If not, Sol might just go down to the blue.
Yeah, the inside of the side. Still got 3 first days, but as you can see, I was junking through here. Not going to happen. He's going to deny. Go down. No, actually, peeked on over. Doesn't matter. He will go down. Brazil now done with this fight, though, means that America really has to worry when making the push down the hillside, because they have nothing to worry about. They have the high ground, and they are sitting tight. We got to keep in mind, though, as well, Xenox, Cloris, one of 2 Vietnamese players who were getting butchered by literally the entire server 15 minutes ago, has somehow snuck into the top 4.
Yeah. USA, they had 16 points. They were in 10th place, now up to 25 points and into the top 8. This is a big game for them to sort of reignite their PUBG Nations Cup campaign. They're in an okay position, but obviously Brazil, they've got the God spot. They've got that compound. But the problem is if you sit in the compound, USA should be able to actually push up to them. So Brazil kind of need to play outside of it now.
Yeah. Japan, in the meantime, when they had a chance to push up towards Brazil when they were fighting Finland, they had a chance to push up towards USA when they were fighting Korea. Didn't opt to do either, and now they are banking very, very hard on this next circle to go south. Because if not, if they have to move, I'm afraid that's going to be them out of this one.
And the question then sort of begs to be who gets those kills. I think it's probably the United
Depends
States,
on
right?
where the circle goes, east or west.
Unless Brazil, obviously, start to really peek out and really get up into that top of the hill portion. Now, that circle goes far north. Japan do not get their prayers answered. It also means the USA don't get a bit of an eastern shift either. They have to push into this and away from the terrain that they've got too. This is just surely Brazil's game.
I'm loving that they're sending Haven down that hillside early. They did the same thing with him over towards Finland, establish a foothold, set up, like kind of create a contain. Say, this is the line we're setting up. They can't move past this. USA peeks on over. Issue is they peek down into Japan. The remaining 3 Brazilian players are shooting at them in return. So America needing to make that move south, but Haven is already sat up there ready and waiting.
Yeah, good point. USA, they just can't bother with Japan at all.
They
have to play now for their position moving forward. And yeah, Japan on the move. But really, where do they end up? There's Cloris, by the way, the solo for Vietnam. They go straight past.
I love it.
They're going so far north. Guys, stop the Blues right there.
This is so smart. They go, we cannot get out of there. If they start shooting us right now, wait, they're focusing each other. Let's make the play. Issue is too many angles. Too many angles. And Brazil back-to-back stolen by LFP1, and now they change their focus over to USA.
They get the knock though onto VHC, but he's still on top of that build of the terrain, right? So they'll get the easy revive through LFP1. Then Haven, Sparking, they can fire shots back over to the USA. Still make it difficult for them to push forward into the circle. And don't forget about Cloris. At some point, if the USA push past him, if they push past him, Toby, he could actually find a couple of kills and play spoil.
Very dangerous player. 0 kills, might not look like it, but he is one to hit shots when need be. And believe me, if there's a time to hit your shots, that's if 4 US players make their way right past you, which, as you said, Xenox, could very, very well happen. Shrimsy, sit in tight. They are inside the next circle, so no reason to overextend before you're forced to.
So Haven's pushed early. He's the star player right now for Brazil. Forget about Sparking. Haven has been fragging out, arguably averaging almost up there. Some of the best numbers at this tournament, and they're down onto Shrimsy as well. Further pain being added onto the side of the United States. 8 kills for Brazil, and they want more.
I mean, Haven is playing solo contain right now. It's absolutely insane to watch. And it's only because he got down there early. It's only because he set up shop when he did, before US were able to make a move, that they're able to play the way that they are. He is off his teammates. They're all sitting up on the hilltop with him down below, and he's applying so much pressure, denying US a foothold at all into this one. Let's see where the next circle goes.
I think they're just legitimately stuck. They just can't move.
They can't.
Maybe they were sort of hoping that that next circle for Phase 8 goes really far north, even onto Luna there of Japan, forcing Brazil further down, but it just doesn't go that way. Sparking, VHC, LFP1, they still don't really have to move. They're still going to have that high ground, and the USA now need to move away from cover.
USA desperately need a knock, and that might not even be enough. They need 2. They need Haven down. They need to take him down. They need to force Brazil to consider going down the hill to get the rest, and they need a knock up the hillside too.
They need,
in order to make it out of here alive,
pre-placed smokes that plume at the right time as they get a knock, then they can push forward into the smoke. It has to be perfect from the USA right now. 40% chance? I disagree. I think Brazil's got like an 80% chance to win this game right now.
This has Brazil written all over. Then again, we have seen wins in situations that didn't look like they were going to be. These peak battles are still going on, but again, they need the knock, and they need it now.
And yeah, look, they're getting damaged, that's great, but obviously for the USA, they need that knock. Like you said, if they don't get it, they're not really going to be able to push forward. They do have a decent amount of smokes. We saw their inventory. I think one of their players had like 8 smokes alone, so they do have the smoke game available. They can play into that, but it's useless without the knocks.
They're running into snake-infested territories, and now is when they commit to it. Brazil sending Sparking down as well, leaving it as a 2-2 smart decision-making. Having 2 up on the top. The smoke's being thrown as alerting everyone. Wait, there's still a Japanese player down there somewhere. Might want to focus him too, but you can see Nates are coming in now. That is going to be utility they would want for a final potential 4v4.
And you can just see from that point of view there, the high ground, the advantage that Brazil have from this spot. They spot Luna as well, down to 14 health. VHC gets that kill, an even spread of kills for Brazil. Now they should be firmly turning their attention to the USA. Cloris, of course, still has not been spotted. He is still a solo player alive in this game.
There is a world where Cloris wins this. They have no clue that he's there. They know that there's 9 alive. They know there's multiple teams, but they do not have the access to focus on him right now.
There's a world in which the USA win this game by LFP1 and VHC going for a wrap down south, pushing out to the east, and basically running into the snake trap of Cloris.
The snake could be the deciding factor. VHC, 2 big blue tags there. Not what you want to have happen, especially when you have opponents shooting at you, but does make its way down.
They're moving. They're going. I think this could end up actually happening if Cloris gets up and starts moving. Now, of course, he needs to move pretty shortly into phase 9. Haven, LFP1. Sharpshot gets close to them. He actually spots Haven, gets the down. USA advantage. They get the knock that they desperately needed.
1 player down, but Cloris, oh Cloris, when do you start shooting? They're all going to wrap north round. They know they got the knock up here. Cloris spots them all. Cloris sees and hears to make his way past. He's got a nade in hand. He's got a nade in hand. Watch out, here he comes. Spots the first one. Takes down 1, takes down 2. USA falling as Cloris continues. Takes down all of them. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't find the 4th, but the damage is done already. And Cloris gave this one on a silver platter to Brazil.
Farm the kills before killing Sharpshot. They do it smart from Brazil. 13. They'll make it 14. Brazil make it 2 wins. And the Pubg Nations Cup. Perfectly played by Brazil with a little bit of help from their Vietnamese friend.
A little bit of help. Haven falls down. Cloris says, don't worry, guys. I've got you. Steps up. Finds 3. Brazil, as you said, smart in flushing out, securing those extra points. And in the end,